Hello. My sister's got me a mic. Which is such a small step, but I already feel more like a serious YouTuber. It's a step towards honestly just feeling more comfortable posting my stuff because you won't have to hear as much of the horrible cicadas in traffic outside my window. Hopefully. I hope this works. I'm so sorry if the audio is awkward or whatever. It's my first time using the mic to record stuff, so it might be choppy or it might be holding it too close or too far from my face. I'll learn. But anyway, hello. I'm Rose. You can also call me Fairy. Today, I am going to be talking about ways to be happy and why you should try. Let's just get right into the video. I'll be doing my makeup as we just talk.
Okay, number one, why you should try. I have a lot of friends who struggle a lot with mental health, with depression and anxiety. And what is, I think, the hardest part for all of them, and for me as the therapist friend, is just trying to get them to want to get better. I personally think a really big reason for why we hold on to these feelings is because of what we crave, what we want to get out of it, which is generally acknowledgement. Whether that's sympathy or attention, whatever it is, you want that acknowledgement of your suffering. You are allowed to want acknowledgement. You are allowed to want and receive attention and sympathy when you're not sick. You're allowed to want and receive and give all of that without making yourself sick. I think also sometimes it can be almost a romanticized view of suffering and of the victim, damsel in distress. It's sort of taken on a different look in our culture. It's no longer wanting to be rescued in a physical sense, but wanting to be rescued from your mental distress, from other people bullying you. You want other people to see how you're being treated and how much you have to deal with, and you don't want to fix the problems because first you want someone to come be your hero. I think in a lot of ways our culture has twisted it to make it seem like suffering is a virtue. I saw a post somewhere, but I don't know the name of the person to credit them. It said that their biggest tip to young girls and young people in general is to not make sadness your aesthetic. First, I want to say that I don't mean alt people. I really don't. I don't think that's what they're talking about. But I think it's making it your personality of being like, no, I am broody and angsty, and I'm unlucky, and things don't go my way, and I am a victim, and all of that stuff of sort of making it a part of you. And I later would have probably fallen into it if I hadn't already seen that post. So I want to bring that part up because that actually really did help me. I think sometimes we don't know who we are without suffering, without whatever we're going through, or the person that we've become because of it. For example, I grew up with maladaptive daydreaming disorder, which I'm not diagnosed for. It means that I grew up always daydreaming. And you might think, everyone does that. I sure hope so. Daydreaming is beautiful and wonderful, and I think if you haven't daydreamed in a while, you should do it, okay? Be creative. Go daydream. However, I did it way too much. I existed more in these fantasies than I did in reality. And you might think, that sounds really cool. What's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that is that I self-isolated through maladaptive daydreaming. Wherever I went, whether it was a party, an event, my grandparents' house, I would look for some place to isolate, normally the woods. It made it so hard for me to make friends because I was barely even trying. Anytime I was uncomfortable somewhere, I would just start daydreaming instead of pushing outside of my comfort zone. And that became who I was. I was the art kid. I was the daydreamer. I was an introvert. I was never an introvert. I had social anxiety and maladaptive daydreaming disorder. So if you are an introvert, I'm not saying that you can't be one, but I'm saying a lot of times we define ourselves by our coping mechanisms. And sometimes those coping mechanisms are actually detrimental to our health. The things that have happened to you and the things that you've experienced and the person that you became because of them, there's more outside of that. And if you confine yourself to this, you're never going to grow. But it's scary. I know it is. And you can have a bit of an identity crisis about it. Who are you if not the artist kid, the daydreamer, the introvert? We have to separate ourselves from our experiences to a degree. To a degree, okay? I know that a lot of what we are is what we experience, but there is more to us. And once you get outside of it, you learn so much more about yourself, and you're able to find so many more people who are like you. And whatever fantasies you have in your head, or whatever things that you hold yourself to, whatever aesthetics you've created, whatever personality traits you've decided are what you are, the things outside of that will be just as exciting or more. And your comfort zone, when you go outside of it, you don't stay outside of it. You're like nudging it, and it will grow, and you will be comfortable again once you push through it. I mean, it's a bit hard to answer the question, why should you try to be happy? Because you'll be happier. But I'm just trying to acknowledge that it is difficult. Okay, let's talk depression. So I want to start off by saying I have clinical depression, just to differentiate from situational depression, which I experience. But clinical depression means that no matter what I do, I will struggle with depression. But I feel like if you've been watching this far, you might have noticed I'm kind of a happy person. How do I handle depression and happiness? How can they coexist? Well, first off, therapy. Get evaluated for things, get diagnosed, talk to professionals. My medications seriously help me. But I didn't have them for a very long time. My insomnia means that I can't get to appointments on time, so I understand how difficult these situations can be, how long waiting lists are, etc., etc. We have to acknowledge what depression is. People define it by a lot of things, but what I see most is a lack of hope and a lack of motivation. Hopelessness is often a lack of excitement. I don't mean that like roller coasters excitement. I mean an anticipatory excitement, looking forward to things, right? Like, for example, when I start getting really depressed in like springtime, I know that my favorite fair is coming up. I get so excited about it. Also, if I'm depressed in like, I don't know, October, I'm like, what's the point of life? I'm like, well, come spring, you get to go to the fair again. And that's enough. That is enough. However, I try to only make that my one thing if it's coming up pretty soon. If anything's a bit farther out, or it's a smaller thing to look forward to, you're gonna want like 3 to 5 things. Make sure to make plans ahead of time to be excited about. Because what does that do? You can't be hopeless if there's hope in the future, if you already know something's going to happen, okay? Plans can cancel. So make sure that there's multiple things, because being let down is so hard. So put yourself out there a lot. The next thing is motivation. Motivation is a complicated one because this can come from a lot of things. But motivation is very often tied to burnout. You'll be doing things that maybe you like or maybe you're really passionate about, but you keep pushing yourself to do these things so consistently that any amount of joy that you had for it is strangled out in the routine. One of the things that you can do to help get some motivation back is be spontaneous. But it can be difficult to come up with things that are spontaneous. And also, it's hard to find things that you're happy about once you're already in the frame of mind that makes you feel like nothing is bringing you joy. A lot of the time, we can get really burnt out doing the same thing because it's something that we're required to do. You really need to make money. You really need to make good grades. If there's any amount of work that you do alone, and you can watch a show while you do it, you can listen to music while you do it, listen to a podcast, anything that you can do that's engaging outside of what you're doing, or taking like homework or whatever outside, just changing up your environment a little bit, anything that you can do to Just switch it up a little bit, okay? Maybe even just decorate your desk. Anything that you can do to make that space that you've been in repetitively a little out of the ordinary. Maybe change it up every day, you know? Maybe have a really fun calendar that you're excited to see, you know, what the national holiday is for. Maybe it's National Taco Day or Strawberry Day or whatever. I think strawberry is like February 23rd. I may be wrong about that. Anything that you have that sort of makes you excited to see what it will be like the next day, sort of like advent calendars, you know? Try to find something like that that you can put around whatever is negative in your life. Any amount of motivation that you get will be another step, okay? And sometimes it's all you can do, is just another step. And that's something, right? It's better than staying on the landing that you were on previously. Another one is exercise. And before you guys quit on me here, listen, I think when we hear exercise a lot of the time, we think of this like really big, difficult thing. And even for me, a really big, difficult thing is going on a walk once a week. That's a really big, difficult thing for me, okay? I'm very disabled. However, exercise can look like a lot of different things. When I say exercise, I mean moving your body. Sit up and stretch in the morning. You do that? Great. That wasn't something that you were doing before and you're adding that, you are already a step closer. Again, we're doing steps, okay? We're not trying to get all the way up to the next floor. We're just trying to get off of this level that we're on right now. A lot of the time, this amount of exercise that does make me so much happier than when I don't do it is dancing. When I'm waiting for my food in the microwave, I dance. It's okay if it doesn't look good. It's okay if you're not doing as much as you used to. Just move a little bit. Any amount of little bit of exercise that you can do is something, okay? And it will make you happier. Especially, again, if you're choosing something that makes you happier. Do yoga, do dancing, learn to do the splits. I don't know, a lot of people are doing that lately, and I think that's super cool. Find something easy and fun. I feel like this might sound like so minuscule, but I think a lot of people who have depression can relate because it can sort of feel like a disability in a lot of ways. As I said, the motivation, it affects everything, and it affects your ability to get out of bed, to brush your teeth, to shower. If you haven't showered in a week, I do not think you're gross. I think you're going through it, and I hope you get help. And know that you are still loved, regardless of what you smell or look like, okay? Your greasy hair, your bad breath, it does not matter. If you have the right people in your life, they care about you. Do not self-isolate just because you don't feel like you're looking your best, smelling your best. I hope you have people in your life that understand your situation and are there for you and won't make you feel like you're not doing enough. Do something that interests you, that sparks joy in any little amount. Maybe it doesn't the first time. Maybe it doesn't even feel like it does it at all. But maybe you look back and be like, okay, but I used to feel like I didn't do anything in my life. I lacked all motivation, and lately I have my little things, you know? I go out every morning and I touch grass. Literally, I touch grass. I'm not saying this in any sarcastic, you need to get off the internet way. I'm saying that touching grass is fantastic. Go lay in the grass, okay? I know, for us that struggle with hygiene, I understand feeling like, I finally got a shower, I'm not gonna go lay in the grass, okay? You don't have to. Touch it. Touch the grass. Touch it gently. Pet the grass. Go look at a ladybug. I don't know, if it's not winter, if there are bugs around you, there's pretty much always bugs. Find a bug. Go watch ants climb a tree. I did that once when I was really, really exhausted and my family dragged me to a park. Find the little things that spark joy in any amount. I was not sitting watching the ants like it was a Taylor Swift concert, you know, screaming my heart out or whatever, so excited. But it made me kind of happy, you know, a little bit. It made me feel like, oh, I got out of the house and went to a park and looked at ants. That's more than I sat up today in bed. Get outside of your comfort zone. That's really the main thing I'm asking in this video, is that you try something new. Another one, make friends. It might feel like there are no opportunities to make friends. I'm very isolated. So most of the friends that I have are friends of my siblings that I've adopted, or like friends that I've managed to keep for a really long time. If you have family that doesn't absolutely suck, if your siblings just suck in the sibling way, become their friend. And that might sound crazy, but listen, my siblings and I did not always get along. Sometimes you have to just be like, hey, this is kind of petty childish shit. You want to be friends? And a lot of time they'll be like, Yeah, you know, and a lot of sibling dynamics, you guys are friends, like, I don't know, 40% of the time. Just decide to stop being enemies, like, the other 60% of the time. If you have any people around you, got neighbors or something, you know, anyone, start talking about wanting to be their friend. You know, don't proclaim it in an impersonal way of, I want friends. Why does no one like me? I wish I had a best friend, while surrounded with other people. I know this is a very antisocial age, but it's not going to change unless we are that change. It's really scary to go up to a specific person and ask to be their friend, or to ask how much they like you. That's scary. I'm not going to pretend it's not. But just proclaiming that doesn't help you create these connections that you want. Try going up to an individual that you know, maybe you like a little bit. Listen, you don't have to make them your best friend. They don't have to be your soul sister or your soulmate. A lot of times, I at least have these really big expectations of, if this person is my friend, then we are best friends. We're doing each other's nails. We're gonna live in the same neighborhood when we grow up. We're gonna have joint weddings, like Erica and Annika. Are those their names? Princess and the Pauper. I don't know. Barbie girls get me. That might not happen, okay? Especially with each individual. But just trying to slowly open our circle up. Maybe that individual isn't someone that you super click with, but maybe if you start hanging out with them, that will open up new opportunities, and you might meet your future best friend from that path. Text first. I know, again, it's scary, but someone's got to text first, right? You want someone to text first, so imagine how relieved they'll be if you do, okay? It's a service, okay? It's a love language. Text someone else first today. That is your homework assignment. Online relationships. They don't replace in-person friendships. Internet friendships, however, will bring you something. They will. They'll bring you new perspectives. It will make you a little bit more comfortable with starting conversations. It kind of makes it easier because when you're behind a screen, you feel protected. So if someone rejects you, it's not as obvious. These people will hopefully make socializing a little bit easier. Hopefully you'll find like-minded people and realize that you're not alone in the world. Connecting with people online to maybe have a connection with someone similar to you will help fill that need. And then you can find someone who maybe doesn't relate to you, but has your similar interests that you can go hang out with in person, and that will fill that need. I want to remind all of you, you are lovable. Maybe you are around very hateful people, okay? Maybe you're around really boring people. Maybe the people around you do not appreciate you. But that doesn't mean that you're not lovable. Try and look at, like, fiction. The character that you really like might be really hated by other people. So, you know, and you like them. So don't let other people's opinions of you make you feel like you're unlovable. You are very lovable. Someone, if you are fictional, might hang you on their wall. If that makes you happy, you can think of that. If that creeps you out, never mind. Ignore what I said. Love yourself. And when I say love yourself, I'm not even saying, like, don't be mean to yourself or be confident or think you're a good person or whatever. I mean, like, write love letters to yourself. I don't know. Like, who's gonna stop you? Write a love song about yourself. Take lots of pictures of yourself. Edit them. Post them. Keep them for yourself. Write down a list of things that you love about yourself. You know, maybe if they're hard to come up with, keep a little jar. Each time you come up with, oh, that's a good trait that I have. Oh, I kind of like my nose. Oh, I'm kind of a nice person. Wait, I'm a good listener. You know, write that on a little slip and keep it in a jar. And then when you're like, why would anyone like me? Dump out the jar and then read every single one. And maybe the things themselves won't even help. But if you read an entire jar of things and you still can't calm down, is that even possible? I don't know. Read a jar of little things when you're sad. Obviously, listen, I'm a genius. All of the things that I say are guaranteed to work. Okay? But they might. Try them. I don't know. In a way, I do think distracting yourself from your sadness works a little bit. A little bit, you know. Throw it off. Don't let it know your next move, okay? It's calculated, but you can be more spontaneous than it is calculated, and it won't be able to catch up. Maybe that's my ADHD talking, but I think you can outrun it. joking, I'm joking. Another big tip that I'm trying to teach my sister and that really helped me recently, if you do have people in your life that like compliment you a lot or are really nice to you or like you or love you, I don't know, if you have those types of people in your life, just try and take their eyes when you're thinking about yourself. Just try and see yourself through the eyes of the person who gave you that compliment. My sister is so sweet and so supportive and so complimentary of me. And listen, I have a least favorite angle, okay? I used to think those things were a myth when I was a little kid. They are not. I hate this angle of me. I will show you now. Proof that I mean what I say, okay? Listen. I hate this angle of me, right here. I hate what it looks like. I hate my chin. I hate my jawline. Okay, but even looking at it right now, after I've done what I'm about to tell you, it's already much better and easier to look at. My sister thinks I'm cute. My sister thinks I'm beautiful. My sister thinks that I'm really likable and lovable. My sister doesn't think there are any bad angles of me. Okay, so if I'm my sister and I'm looking at me right now, she somehow would find this beautiful and adorable. So I'm going to try and find that, okay? And you just keep looking, okay? And you'll find it. You'll start to see it. Just look at yourself with so much love. You're so cute. Oh my gosh, you're kind of adorable. Or even like, I love you so much. Who cares if that's a bad angle? Like, that literally doesn't, one angle of you, this is your hold up. You know what I mean? There you go. I just showed you one of my biggest insecurities. Proof that I mean what I say, okay? It didn't hurt to look at. Listen, I have had breakdowns over that angle of me. I'm not kidding. It's bad.
One of the big things that you can do is be creative. I'm serious. I'm an artist, okay? I'm biased. I know that. But go paint. Paint rocks. People really like that. Then go like leave those rocks around other places. Then you're not only making yourself happy, you're making other people happy. And the feeling of knowing that other people are happy because of what you did will make you even happier. Okay? It's like a life hack. It really, the entire system changes everything. Go make someone else happy. Do something with someone that you don't generally enjoy. Maybe like Monopoly. Monopoly sucks. But maybe your dad freaking loves Monopoly. Go play Monopoly with your dad. You might be like, how on earth would that make me happy? Rose, how on earth? You want me to bore myself to death? This is how I'm a happier person? Yes, because you're not focusing on your own happiness and being selfless. I'm not even saying like sacrificial. Okay, don't be self sacrificial. Just like not focusing on your own happiness for 2 seconds will make you a happier person. Trust me, my mom gave me this advice.
The less you focus on trying to make yourself happy, the happier you will be. Partly because making yourself happy is a goal. And when you fail to meet it, there's a lizard. Hold on. Oh, it's leaving. I don't think I can show you. It was right on my window. Anyway, you're not only not making yourself happy, you're also failing to meet a goal. Okay, that makes you super unhappy. And it will also make you feel sort of like out of options, unmotivated, hopeless. Sound familiar? So, if the goal is instead to make someone else happy, and then you see them light up at this attention, at you playing a game that you normally wouldn't play with them, you see that happiness and that joy, you're succeeding at something. And happiness is contagious, and seeing them smile will make you smile, especially when you know it's because of you. Then they'll be complimentary. They'll be trying to make you happy. Happy people are kind people. Happiness is often a prize and not an achievement. If you do something else, you will become happy. Looking for happiness makes it harder to find, like watching the phone and waiting for it to ring. So, try something else.
Sorry, I did a lot off camera because it's kind of hard to do it with one hand and I have to hold my mic. But I know that saying is I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something to the effect of the fear of staying the same has to become worse than the fear of change for you to be able to grow. And I feel like I come from a very different place than a lot of people because I've always had a fear of staying the same. Um, I'm an Enneagram 1, and I think that's where a lot of that comes from, of this constant need for self-improvement. But my need for self-improvement has often led me down the wrong road with a lot of self-hatred. And I try to encourage all of my friends and everyone I know, everyone who comes to me for advice, that you have to start on your a journey of improvement in any way, whether that's mental health, physical health, just anything, um, with loving yourself enough to want to get better and not hating yourself enough to want to change. So hopefully that's where you can come from this, and hopefully that will um, encourage the desire to change without a fear of staying the same, because I do think that can be harmful to come from that place, but recognizing that your past behaviors are harmful and wanting to improve is a good thing, you know? I think we have a self critic for a reason, and your critic should be giving positive feedback too. A critic isn't, I talk about this a lot because I consider myself a critic. I don't immediately jump on bandwagons, and I actually, my family wants me to be a commentary YouTuber because whenever we're watching things, I always point out all the problems with it, but they think it's entertaining sometimes. Sometimes I'm just annoying. But sometimes they think it's entertaining, and so they think that I should do that as my job, just being critical of things. But the thing is that I give positive feedback too. So just remind your inner critic that if it's only giving negative feedback, then it's being a bad critic. And it's the one that needs to change and improve and not you. So hating yourself won't make yourself better. I promise you. It will only make you more judgmental, bitter. It will make you dislike others too because of the dislike that you have for yourself. The more that you can forgive yourself and accept yourself and love yourself, the more you'll have that acceptance of others. So, yeah, please try to make yourself happy, make others happy, be a better person. It's hard, and I'm here for you. And I hope that whatever you're struggling with gets better. I love you.